What if the thing you trust the most doesn't actually exist? Not money, not reality, not even your thoughts, but time itself. What if the past is not behind you, the future is not ahead of you, and this moment you call now is not moving at all? What if everything you've ever lived, every memory, every decision, every second, is not happening in sequence, but all at once? And the most unsettling part, what if your mind is the only reason time feels real? There is something so familiar about time that we rarely question it. It feels constant, reliable, always moving forward, second by second, moment by moment, carrying us from the past into the future. It shapes everything, your memories, your plans, your sense of identity. You measure your life by it. You organize your world around it. You trust it. But what if that trust is misplaced? What if time is not what you think it is? Or more unsettling, what if time doesn't exist at all? Not in the way you experience it, not as a flowing river pulling you forward, but as something far stranger. To begin understanding this, you have to step outside your everyday experience, because everything about your perception is built to make time feel real. Your brain creates a continuous narrative, stitching together moments so seamlessly that you never notice the gaps. But beneath that smooth surface, something unusual is happening. You are not experiencing time directly. You are experiencing change, and your brain is interpreting that change as time. Think about this carefully. When you say that time is passing, what are you actually noticing? You are noticing movement. You are noticing differences. The position of the sun changes, the clock moves, your body ages, events unfold. But these are all changes, not time itself. Time, as you understand it, is a framework your mind uses to organize those changes. Without change, would time exist? Imagine a universe where nothing moves, nothing shifts, nothing evolves. No thoughts, no motion, no transformation of any kind. In such a universe, would time have any meaning? Would it even be detectable? Or would it simply disappear? This question has troubled physicists and philosophers for decades. Because when you look deeper into the nature of reality, time begins to behave in ways that challenge everything you assume about it. According to modern physics, time is not absolute. It does not flow the same way everywhere. It can stretch, compress, and even slow down depending on speed and gravity. Near a black hole, time behaves so differently that an outside observer could watch seconds stretch into years. This isn't theory. It has been measured, proven. Time is not fixed. It is flexible. But flexibility raises a deeper question. If time can change, then what is it really? And here is where things become truly strange. Some physicists propose that time does not flow at all, that the past, present, and future all exist simultaneously, not as a sequence, but as a structure, a complete, unchanging block of reality. In this view, often called the block universe, every moment that has ever existed, every second of your life, every event in history, every possible future is already there. Not waiting to happen, but already existing. And what you call the present moment is simply where your consciousness is focused within that structure. You are not moving through time. Your awareness is moving through moments. Or perhaps even more unsettling, it only feels like movement. Because your brain is constructing the illusion of flow. Think about how you experience a movie. Frame by frame, image by image, each still picture is slightly different from the last. When played fast enough, those static frames create the illusion of motion. But the motion is not actually in the film. It is in your perception. Now apply that idea to reality itself. What if existence is made of frames, discrete moments that do not move, do not flow, do not change? And what if your consciousness is what creates the experience of movement between them? If that were true, then time is not something that exists externally. It is something generated internally, a feature of perception, not a fundamental property of reality. And suddenly, everything changes. Because if time is not real in the way you think, then what about your past? Your memories feel solid, fixed, certain. But memory is not a perfect recording. It is reconstructed every time you recall it. It changes, it shifts, it adapts. Your past is not a place you can return to. It is a story your mind tells. And your future? It feels open, unwritten, something that has yet to happen. But if the block universe idea is true, then the future already exists, just as real as the past. You are not creating it. You are moving into awareness of it. Or perhaps even more unsettling, it only feels like that way. Because your brain cannot process all moments at once. It filters them, sequences them, creates a narrative, a beginning, a middle, and end. Without that narrative, your experience would collapse into something incomprehensible. So your brain builds time, just like it builds your perception of space, color, and sound. Not as an illusion in the sense of being false, but as a useful interpretation, a model that allows you to function. But models are not reality. They are representations, and every representation leaves something out. Now consider something even more unsettling. If time is not a continuous flow, then cause and effect may not work the way you think. You believe that the past causes the present, and the present causes the future. That's how your mind organizes events. But if all moments exist simultaneously, then causality might be more like a relationship than a sequence. Events are connected, but not necessarily in a linear order. This idea challenges your deepest assumptions, because it means that the story of your life, the sense that you are moving forward, making decisions, shaping your future, might not be as straightforward as it seems. It doesn't mean your choices don't matter, but it raises a question. What is a choice in a reality where all moments already exist? Are you creating your path or discovering it? And how would you even tell the difference? There are moments in life when time seems to behave strangely. Moments where everything slows down or speeds up. Moments that feel longer than they should or shorter than they could possibly be. In intense situations, people often report that time seems to stretch, giving them the ability to think and react with incredible clarity. In other moments, hours disappear without notice. These experiences are not anomalies. They are clues. They reveal something important. Time as you experience it is not constant. It is shaped by your perception, by your attention, by your state of mind. Which means it is not entirely external. It is partly constructed. And if something is constructed, it can be altered. Not necessarily controlled completely, but influenced, expanded, contracted, felt differently. This is why certain moments feel timeless, why some experiences feel like they exist outside of time entirely. Deep focus, meditation, flow states. In those moments, the usual sense of past and future fades. Only the present remains. And even that feels different, less like a moving point, more like a space, a field, something still, something vast. And in that stillness, a strange realization begins to form. Maybe time isn't what's moving. Maybe it's you. Or more precisely, your awareness, moving from one moment to another, creating the illusion of flow. But what if even that is an illusion? What if there is no movement at all? What if everything simply is? And your experience of sequence is just the way your mind organizes it. This idea is difficult to grasp because your entire life has been built on the assumption that time is real, that it moves, that it carries you forward. But the deeper you look, the less certain it becomes, and the more questions arise. If time isn't real, then what is aging? What is change? What is growth? These things still happen,
but perhaps not in the way you think. Perhaps they are not processes unfolding over time, but relationships between different states of existence, different configurations of reality, all existing together. And your awareness moves between them, experiencing them as change, as progress, as time. But underneath it all, there is something else, something still, something constant, something that does not move. And that something might be closer to what reality actually is. Because if time is an illusion, then what remains? What is left when you remove the idea of past and future? Only this moment. But even calling it a moment might be misleading, because that implies it is part of a sequence. What if it isn't? What if it is all there is? Not as